A sailor crossing the ocean doesn't control the wind. They don't control the current. They don't control the pressure of the waves. But experienced sailors know something important. They don't try to fight the forces. They learn how to navigate them. Negotiation works the same way. You cannot control everything a buyer will say, but you can learn to recognize the forces shaping the conversation. And once you recognize them, you stop reacting and start navigating. Imagine a ship leaving the harbor. Before the voyage even begins, the sailor must decide where to drop anchor. Because if the anchor goes down too early, the ship never moves. Negotiation has the same moment. When price enters the conversation too early, it becomes the anchor. Everything begins orbiting around that number. The discussion shifts. Instead of exploring impact or outcomes, the conversation revolves around cost. Not because the number is wrong, but because gravity formed too soon. Experienced sellers understand this. They don't hide price, but they don't drop the anchor until the ship is in the right water. But once the ship leaves the harbor, another force begins to appear: the current. A strong current can quietly change the direction of a vessel, and if the sailor fights it directly, they waste energy. So experienced sailors read the current. Negotiation momentum works the same way. Silence enters the room. The buyer pauses. Many sellers rush to fill the space. They explain. They justify. They soften. But the moment you rush to break silence, momentum shifts. Sometimes the most powerful response in negotiation is simply holding course. And this is where many negotiations quietly go wrong. Not because the seller lacks skill, but because they misunderstand the forces they're dealing with. They think negotiation is about arguments. But sailors know something different. The ocean doesn't argue. It applies pressure, and pressure changes behavior, and the ocean rarely stays calm. Eventually, the weather changes. Storms bring pressure, heavy waves. In negotiation, storms appear as urgency. End of month. Quota gaps. Forecast pressure. When urgency leaks into the conversation, buyers sense it. Just like a storm shaking a vessel. Internal pressure can shake a seller's position. Sailors live by an important rule. Panic sinks ships. Composure keeps them afloat. And the same rule applies in negotiation. But the most dangerous problems at sea are often the quiet ones. Ships rarely sink from a single massive hole. They sink from small leaks. Water entering slowly. Almost unnoticed at first, negotiation erosion works the same way. Small concessions, small adjustments, just a little flexibility. Each one feels harmless, but each one teaches the buyer something. It teaches them how flexible the structure really is. And over time, those small leaks weaken the deal. The best sailors are not the strongest. They are the most aware. They read the wind, they study the current, they respect the pressure of the storm, and they repair leaks before they become disasters. And this is why experienced negotiators often appear calm in situations where others feel tension, because they recognize the forces in the room: gravity, momentum, pressure, erosion, and instead of reacting emotionally, they adjust their course. If negotiation ever feels chaotic, if leverage suddenly feels like it's slipping away, pause. Look at the forces shaping the conversation. Because negotiation isn't about fighting harder, it's about navigating better. Just like a sailor crossing the ocean. The success lens. Change the lens, change the outcome.